Well,
Okay.
okay.
What's
Hi.
up, podcasters?
What's up, 745ers? The sky on the ceiling.
How you feeling?
How you feeling, guys?
Good.
Feeling good.
Very good.
Okay.
Doing good. Okay. It was a little rusty doing that intro. It's been a little minute since we filmed. Yeah.
Well, we have two guests.
Yeah, our first guests. Filming.
First guest.
Do you want
Yes.
to wait?
You
Actually,
want to introduce yourselves?
yeah. Let's.
Yeah, so I'm Ronan Holtzman. This is Elijah David.
I'm Elijah David.
We're the new co-leads of Young Men's Mental Health Club. We took over the club about
Here,
three
recently-
months
I'll
ago.
okay.
do it.
Yeah, you can go. We took over the club about 3 months ago, and now we'll be running it all of our senior year before we pass it on.
Awesome.
To this
me.
guy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Really?
Future
Yeah,
co-leader of
future
Young
co-
Men's,
future-
or
probably
future
future
leader.
Mm.
Co-leader.
Be there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you'll find a
Also
co-lead.
bleep. Yeah.
Also, bleep. No, it's okay.
Yeah,
we can
guys.
leave it up.
No, like,
No names. Yeah,
You can
I have
just
to
say
bleep
bleep.
every single. Yeah, just say bleep.
guys, we don't swear. It's just
It's
the
just
names.
the names.
Yeah.
We can't have them on.
Okay.
Okay. You want to start with Rosebud Thorn?
Sure. Let's start with
Okay,
Roosevelt.
we'll go with Ronan first then.
Is bud the same thing as stick?
Bud is what you're looking forward to.
Oh, looking for okay, because like normally I do stick, and that's like what you learn. Just in general, in my life.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah,
Fast.
Rose riding my bike this weekend. Nichols ride.
Awesome.
Thorn. Probably just fitting in all my work this weekend. Same thing. And stick. Looking forward to finishing finals.
Okay.
Pretty
It's-
basic.
it's- You meant bud, but.
You
Yeah.
know
Oh,
that.
yeah,
It's okay.
Bud.
It's
Stick
all
bud.
I'm used to stick.
same thing.
All right. My rose was I hung out with this kid. She was pretty cool from my Taekwondo studio. My thorn was I have a lot of work to do. That's probably gonna happen tomorrow night. And then my bud is this guy. But I'm looking forward to next weekend too because I have some stuff planned that I'm excited for.
Okay. Rose, I had Asian dinner yesterday. Bud, my permit exam is on July 10th.
Ooh.
I had to move it a month because I did the math wrong. My birthday's in January, which means half birthday's in July, not June. And then my thorn is that we have finals in 2.5 weeks, and I have 3 Mandarin finals.
3 Mandarin finals.
Yeah, she gave us
What?
3 Mandarin.
Oral, paper, and
Oral and a presentation are separate, and then like a written exam.
We just have a presentation.
Okay. Here, wait. I'll do my rose last because I have like a ton of roses, kind of. Okay. Thorn. I have lots of studying to do, and I have an extra math test to take because I'm taking a placement test to see if we can go up.
Ooh.
Yeah, academic
You got
weapon.
it. You got it.
But school's almost over. Summer's like my favorite time of year. Love summer. Get to go to Catalina. You guys might be able to see Catalina a little bit in a future episode. And then Rose, no braces anymore.
Woo!
No braces. And now I have a girlfriend.
Pearly whites. Oh, you're announcing that?
Yeah.
She said yes?
Yeah, she said I could talk
Whoa!
about
He's talking about me, but we're
Yeah.
calling her a girlfriend.
it. Yeah, I have a girlfriend and she's awesome. So
I love her so much.
yeah. Cool. Okay.
Okay. So for the pod, we have a main question, like an overall discussion question, and then Zach and I each prepared 3 to 4 like sub questions. But the main question is, how do you compare young men's mental health today versus 50 years ago? Did we not tell you guys that before?
We got half the questions.
I was not told, but you know, I can think about it and I'm ready to answer
No,
whenever.
Yeah.
I kind of have a answer sort of, or like one big kind of factor just off the top of my
Yeah.
head. If you want me to like start.
Yeah, you can go for it.
Okay. Social media is like
Same. I said the same thing.
it's like the meteor of like the difference.
Mm.
Cause social media brings FOMO. It brings like higher expectations. It brings misinformation, and those 3 things can really like mess up your mental health. So that's kind of like I have more in depth, but if you guys have like
Yeah, I like what you said there a lot. I don't think I'll stay away from, I guess, assigning a value to whether it's better or worse. More people are more knowledgeable about it, that's for sure. It's spoken about more, I guess,
Mhm.
and it takes up a larger place in like I guess the zeitgeist. I also think it's interesting people who are LGBTQ plus, I think, have more leeway to express themselves and be the kind of people that they truly identify as. And I think that's incredible progress that we've made since 1974. I guess 50 years is more general. But yeah, like Zach said, I think there's the social media aspect, and that is also a big contributor.
I think on a more positive. Oh, sorry, you go for it, Ledger.
Yeah, I think just like something that's great that's happening is it's becoming more integrated into our like daily lives. Like we're talking more about it at school, like specifically young men's mental health. We have clubs, like, and that's like a normal thing to do. Also, like in our friend groups, it's going from like, yeah, bro, I'm like totally sad, to like having like real, mature, complicated discussions, which I think is where the magic is really happening, because when we're able to have, really deep, meaningful conversations outside of a structured space, that's how we know what we're doing is working.
Yeah.
I just think there's like less stigma, like around it, like a bad like taboo sense, and it's definitely like you can talk about it and you're not gonna be like shamed about it, and it's just easier to talk on.
I also, something that kind of just like came to me is like I feel like more recently men's mental health has changed from like just like crying in front of like your spouse to more like just like normal, or just like opening up, because I feel like men's mental health was always like associated with like crying or something like that, but it's really I mean it could be, but like there's also other things about it too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think that interesting. Crying to me can often have the
wait, where was the thumbs down?
Wait,
how did it do that?
Thumbs down.
This is not even FaceTime.
Yeah,
What
it's
happened to
photo
thumbs
booth.
down?
Wait, can you?
Oh!
There
Yes.
we go, thumbs down, it rains.
Wait.
Yeah, so as I was saying, I think crying is interesting because it often, at least in my experience, has the connotation of something as being, repressed, and then all of a sudden it comes out and you have an emotional outburst. So I think the fact that, like Zach said, it's become less about, crying in front of your spouse or your partner and more about talking. To me, that feels like a progression towards being able to deal with things before they become so bad that you have an emotional outburst.
Yeah, like I think like the regularness of it is, the word I was looking for is frequency. Like when I was saying, the more frequent it happens, the like less intense, insane, super like the experiences become, and then it just becomes like a part of your regular life.
Yeah.
Also, the age demographic I feel like has kind of changed.
Definitely.
Like
It's a lot sooner and a lot later also.
Yeah.
It's just wider.
Yeah, it's like I feel like it used to more just be like men in like their like 30s to like 40s or so, but now it like ranges from like probably as young as like 14, 12.
Yeah.
But like before, like when it starts kind of getting more serious, to like probably like 65 or 70 even, because it's like just being more dove into, being more researched, which is
Great
good.
way of putting it.
Yeah.
No, I think the crying thing definitely spoke to the more like idea of how masculine you have to be, or masculinity in general. And so I have a question: how does societal expectations of masculinity impact the mental health of young men?
That's a good question.
It is a good question.
I really tried on these questions. Okay.
I was thinking about this one because this is one of the ones that I got beforehand. I should have said them to you. But I think, I think it's always talked about like, oh, men are supposed to be like tough and strong and like
Machismo.
And like, well, like also now even we talk about it being talked about a lot.
Yeah,
Like we're always saying like in our wellness discussions, we're always like, men are always told to be this, like strong, blah, blah, blah. But I think now that's kind of like gotten into everyone's head. So people like are actually like shying away from that.
They shouldn't be.
Yeah, and like because it kind of means that it's kind of sending the message that you can't be strong and masculine while sharing your feelings. Like you have to shy away from that.
Yeah.
Like kind of like the masculinity is bad sort of thing. I think that like maybe if it's not overtly stated, but like the men are supposed to be strong always, but it's okay. Like it shouldn't be like you should be strong or you should share your feelings. Like there's always
There's
you
a
can do
middle
both.
ground.
Yeah.
Not even a middle ground. You can do
Like
you can be, like,
you can do both 100%.
you can do both. Yeah, it's not
like
they're not
comparing
mutually
a-
exclusive.
It's like comparing an apple and an orange.
Yeah, it's like
you can do both.
they're completely unrelated because you can be, super like traditionally masculine and not share your feelings, or you can be.
You can lick your ice cream and you can bite your ice cream and you finish it either way.
Whoa, deep.
Huh.
Wow, that's
Did you
really
come with
good.
that on the spot? Like,
That was really good. Pause.
um,
Whoa.
He's a
yeah, no,
poet.
I'm thinking
Whoa.
like
Nice. Okay, sorry.
we should make a Ronan's Book of Wisdom.
Oh,
we have one.
There's not much in that.
It's a pamphlet,
I'm
it's
just gonna. Oh, perfect timing. I'm just gonna adjust that like that. There we go. Okay.
So yeah, I think I really like what Elijah said, and I think at least in our education at the school that we go to, I think a healthy version of masculinity has really been enforced. We have great role models.
Mhm.
I think you know who I'm talking about. I'm not
The
gonna
goat,
say
the
their
wellness
name.
goat.
Oh, he's Mr. Zabo.
Mr.
He's been
Zabo.
on the
Oh,
pod,
okay.
so-
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
Zabo.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Zabo, man, I really look up to that guy. He's able to speak about his mental health journey and his past in a way that
You don't feel
is-
disconnected from it.
yeah,
Yeah.
you don't quite feel disconnected from it, but also at the same time he's able to analyze his own actions and he's able to analyze himself
Sure.
from a detached point of view and look at it objectively.
I also feel like just overall, pretty much almost all the educators like are super not like relatable, but like they like give a sense of like I don't
They're
know.
humans too. Right?
Yeah,
Oh.
humans too.
They're not just like,
Your
especially
teacher.
with like the way our school operates. It really isn't a didactic place where they're like, this was the Civil War. This happened. Next topic. This is what depression is. Next topic.
Yeah.
If you're even if you're still being talked at for an hour, it feels like much more of a conversation and a
Yeah.
discussion and a dialogue. And you feel like you can open up to your teachers more. You can be yourself more. You don't just have to like be a fact regurgitator. I think it's very much speaks to the way our school is set up. Where yes, it has its flaws, and we bag on it a lot. Like trust me.
Stuco hears it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the way it's set up in certain ways, and the teachers that we hire and the educators that we like endorse, really make you feel like you're part of a school community that is sometimes superficial, but deep down, like a lot of the
They care.
educators care.
Yeah.
Ronan, do you mind passing Stanley? So I guess you guys kind of answered this question, but I just had it written down. How can parents, educators, or your peers better support mental health needs, especially regarding towards guys?
To kind of speak to what happens in the club a lot, and we're trying our best, but sometimes it devolves into like a bro sesh.
That's
Which
kind
is-
of the antithesis of what we're going.
Yeah, because we were talking with our advisor, and they were
Who
like
is it, by the way?
the low-key goat.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, like we're having this club not to just have those bro sessions where we can talk about stuff. Like we can do that outside, but we also have to incorporate a healthy mix of like mature, serious discussion, so that if we model it during the club, it feels natural to have outside of the club.
Oh yeah.
Because, so I think just like as much as you want to like, what's the shoot the. You can shoot the poop with your
Yeah.
friends, but you have I think you have to take the personal responsibility of like it's kind of being the buzzkill, but you have to be like, yo, can we talk about this in like a serious, structured way?
Yeah.
We can joke, we can quip, we can reference the winter formal incident as much as we want, but we can remain like constructive with each other.
Yeah, I liked that point. I think something that we've done well so far in the club, especially with that Russell talk, although we weren't leaders at that point, is, we can counsel each other, but also going to the same way to speak with your parents. You can talk to your parents about, I think, way more stuff than a lot of people give them credit for. You don't have to, if you're not comfortable, of course you're entitled to your own life, but you can also give them vague details and explaining to them, I guess, the emotional landscape of whatever issue that you're dealing with. You don't have to give details or dates or specifics. I think even that can just help. And to add to that, I think we've done a solid job of that in Young Men's Mental Health. And of course, there's always room to improve, but I think that's a great aspect of speaking.
Yeah, I also. Oh, sorry.
Can I just tack on one thing? To Ronan's point, I think, like, I just tried this with my dad and it worked really well. My dad's lived quite the life, and I realized, like, asking about, like, just like my problems didn't make me feel as connected to my dad as I wanted to. So I think it's really a win-win situation where if you ask, like, hey, has this kind of situation ever happened to you? Or, like, even just asking about, like, what their high school friends were like and what they had to go through and what they had to deal with, you can better understand your parent, they better understand you, and you just feel closer, and you get the job done of working through something.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, parenting is not a one-way street. I mean, you have to have a dialogue with your parent, and at the end of the day, they tell you what to do, and you have to listen. But you can get a lot out of being a son or being a daughter or being whatever,
a child.
Being a child of a parent,
and I think
interacting with them on purpose, because love your parents, they're not going to be around.
and give them some grace, I think, is always a good thing, because it's their first time being parents too.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking, like, old people, like, it seems like they have been old before. It seems like they just know what they're doing, but they're like, it's their first time.
Too.
It's like they're going through, like, I mean, maybe not puberty, but like
they're
sort of
for the
puberty.
first time.
Yeah, puberty.
Midlife.
But you're an adult. Like you're like, I already went through this once. Like,
it's called maturing.
Yeah. Yeah. I could use some of that. No. But one question I actually do have, for Katie actually, is like, how do you view like young men's mental health, especially, and like, how do you like try and talk about it, especially as a girl?
Yeah, I wish I got the question beforehand too.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I definitely, like, even like on TikTok or just social media in general, we do hear a lot on the girl end, I guess, about like how, like, I guess going back to the crying thing. Yeah, it's like that's like the biggest thing talked about, I guess, is, oh, like, it's okay, we wouldn't be icked out if we saw like our significant other cry. Because I know you have your own opinions on that, but I agree, like, it's a human thing, but being strong all the time, like, showing vulnerability is you being strong. It's a thing that's not really talked about enough, that, like, being vulnerable is a courageous thing to do, and that should be, like, you should be proud of yourself to do that, and you're not being, like, weak or whatever. I think toxic masculinity is also a thing talked about, just because for girls, we experience it in a different way, because you guys are like...
Do you think toxic masculinity exists?
Depends how you define it. What do you think toxic masculinity
is?
Like,
what's the line between toxic masculinity and, like, just being a jerk?
Yeah, I was
just being a jerk. I think they're one and the same.
I mean, that's why it's called... That's why it's toxic.
Toxic.
Because masculinity shouldn't be toxic. It's who you, like, it's a quality you have that's, like, supposed to be a good quality. But,
well,
like,
Katie, what mansplaining is it's this thing.
But toxic, it means it's bad. Then you're just a jerk and you're just being rude, I guess.
But, like,
maybe that's more of a behavior than a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see. Like,
So, as an extension of that question, how do you view Young Men's Mental Health Club? Because of course we're focused on young men. We are young men.
Yeah.
But we let anybody in.
Okay, so yeah, that's like something. You guys
do.
technically let anybody in, whether you're a young man or not, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, get own women's women's affinity group, and that's one of the only ones where they don't just like let anybody in, and they had troubles last year, people going in who are not women who do as a joke, I guess, and I think it pisses them off when it's a joke, because if you're like we know them, like, I'll bleep, like, if I come in and they're just doing it as a joke just to piss, then, like, obviously it's annoying. But I don't know, I think it's like a very inclusive thing for you guys to do. Though, do you guys even see that many people come in who are not young men?
Last year it was really just one of the co-lead's girlfriends that would be there. Like
there were some more. I think, and their friends sometimes. But yeah, I think that is an interesting thing that I want to work at.
I want to see my face.
Yeah.
I don't think having, people who identify as women there is something that's necessary for the life of the club, but I think it would be good to offer another perspective, an outside perspective looking in, and, just some diversity.
Our school also has an issue with having a white affinity group because that hasn't worked like 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
It's gone this year. It's just Star.
Yeah.
No.
Which is a whole double standard that we can get into later.
A whole different thing. But for, I guess, seeing that you guys are inclusive, it's important that not only men talk about young men's mental health. It should be a conversation that everybody has because, like, everybody wants to help. You should want to help everybody, I guess. So I think it's important that, and honestly, I don't even understand. I mean, I kind of do understand if you're just going to talk about your struggles and girls want to keep that like a girl thing, but women's affinity group, women's issues, fighting for women's things or whatever, should be a conversation everybody has. It shouldn't just be for only and exclusively for only.
Yeah,
it's not women's issues, it's like everybody's issues.
Yeah, we're all.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like the issue with some of these like affinity groups where everyone's trying to be so inclusive, they're exclusive.
Yeah.
I understand that. I mean,
like yes, like there should be a dedicated space for people of like a certain like any kind of group to talk about their own thing, but there also has to be the like the notion that like we're all living in the same place together, and like yes, like there should be times where you can talk about your struggles as a certain group of people, or like your experiences, or your like shared inside jokes that only you would get. But I think it's also important to incorporate everybody, because if we just huddle up into our own individual groups, we're going to be like more separated than ever.
That's what we have community times for.
Well,
no,
I'm
just kidding.
Our community times we do drum circle.
Yeah, we had there was 3 drum circle community times. So they were like, "Oops, sorry, Jewish affinity group, you guys don't get one anymore."
Really?
So that's why we had ours after school. Well, no, they just happened to cut ours because of drum circle.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's interesting. Like, we have so many affinity groups, and to Elijah's point, I guess we do separate them a little bit. I mean, women's rights, I guess fighting for Jewish rights isn't a thing, but fighting anti-Semitism and fighting all these things that are discriminating against these individual groups
should be everyone.
All of these
together.
collectively are human rights, and it's all of our duty as people to fight for them.
And I think it shows, like, especially like one of our teachers, I have him, I don't know if you guys have him, he's the GOAT.
Name?
King.
GOAT.
Yeah, the GOAT. One of our teachers who is not Jewish at all has been one of the most like fervent supporters in like a good way. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, it's my heart clap on 3.
Oh, he smiled?
Yeah, like when you frown, like you have to make that.
No.
Okay, so as I was saying, something that's so important is having people from outside of your own group or community support you, because if not, it's like very tribal in nature.
Yeah.
Where it's like all the Jews are the only ones supporting the Jewish people, and all the Asians are the only ones like fighting for Asian people in like some sense. So having that mix means that like people actually do care, and you don't just care because you have skin in the game.
Yeah, I think it's somewhat of a sanity check, honestly, to have outside validation that like, oh wow, like this is actually a struggle for me or my people, and like this is not something that's invented or faked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like having an educator that doesn't have to, it's like this.
Good.
Yeah, he's great. He doesn't have to support Israel. His life wouldn't change if anything, God forbid, bad happened there. But he chooses to support us as students and educate people correctly about what's happening. And that's been one of my biggest thanks to him, which I bring up all the time. Like, you don't have to do this, but choosing to insert yourself into a situation, which is brave in its own sense, because there can be ramifications to supporting a cause, good or not, that you don't sign up for. So putting yourself out there and taking that risk to support what you believe is right and know is right is very important for like outsiders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think also like it kind of goes back to formulating your own opinion. I'm like,
Oh, we talked about this.
I've like
hundreds.
I've dove so deep into this. It's like what's been kind of fed to me and what have I like discovered on my own. And when you're kind of rooting for your own team, I feel like it's sort of just like not like a cop out because you could be right, but like also like you shouldn't just root for your own team. Maybe you should try and look at other people's perspectives and see if you agree or disagree.
Yeah, that's another thing with social media. I think I've noticed a little bit, and I'm glad that at least most of the time, I hope I'm aware of this, that there is a pipeline of information and political discourse especially. You can really get down a rabbit hole, and it continues to feed you one type of content that's provocative.
Yeah.
Got it. I had another question. What are like the main mental health challenges that mostly like men face?
I don't have like a scientific name for it, but I think like mild depression, or like I don't know if it's like clinical depression, but like it's something I've gone through where like you really compare yourself to everybody around you.
Yeah, it's real.
Like one of my friends was like, like getting with a bunch of cool girls and like going out all the time and doing a bunch of fun stuff. And I was like, I'm doing all the same things, but nothing is working out for me. And it was like a really rough period of time because I was just banging my head against a brick wall for a while and I wasn't getting anything out of it. So I think that comparison that turns into like, oh, even if I'm doing all the wrong stuff, it's not the car, it's the driver. Mm. I think that idea really gets to your head, whether or not it's valid,
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that idea of comparison. I definitely do that a lot. I think, though, I'm a point where instead of letting it get me down, I try to let it motivate me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And just try to, do the best I can with what I'm given. Major problems. I think also in, I don't know if girls do this or if this is like just a guy problem, but I think, some guys can get really isolated and then that perpetuates itself because other people look at that isolation and they see that as a reason to, not interfere and, and it perpetuates itself more because as that person stays isolated from social settings or what have you. I experienced this a little in middle school, but it's not a big deal because I've recovered from it. I think that person can perpetuate itself and become uncomfortable in social situations.
It should do a heart when you do that.
Wait.
It becomes They become uncomfortable.
Oh, this has to be the.
Why is it not coming out of ours?
Does it work if we kiss?
No. I think also, one of the biggest struggles is like when do you become a man, or like what makes you a man? Because like you could like just do nothing until you're 30, and then you're just a 30-year-old boy. Like that's I saw.
It's a Kendrick Lamar reference.
Oh, is it?
No.
Okay.
Kendrick v. Zach. Not even Drake anymore. Kendrick v. Zach.
You're losing.
Oh,
I think going back to it, I think maybe it's your portrayal of your own masculinity.
Yeah,
because I think a boy, you have a really young boy, and what they'll do is they are struggling to express themselves and to protect the people around them. But I think when you're older, you're still a boy if you're being all toxic. We asked if toxic masculinity is real, but if you're unable to show your emotions or be real with the people around you and be sensitive, I don't think you're a man. I think you need to be a functional human being in all senses of the word.
Yeah, wait, what do you guys think man kind of means?
More of a man.
I remember I was conflicted. I think a lot of like the traditional like masculine things are as important, if not now, but they have to be like approached not in such like a I don't want to say binary, like straightforward way. Like you have to have some nuance to things. Like being strong doesn't just mean working out. Being strong, you have to be strong about what you believe in. You have to like love strongly. You have to care with strength. I think that's a much more valid definition than just like physical strength, which I think is important for everyone. Like you should be able to, like live like healthily and feel good about yourself. But that's a different cup of tea. But I think if we just add another dimension to a lot of stuff that kind of comes off as one dimensional, pretty like a solid chunk of like what is viewed as traditional masculinity is still very valid. Like being like a rich, successful guy is just being successful, chasing your goals, being ambitious. Everyone should do that. Accountability is, I think, probably the most important.
You know what this is?
Have you guys seen Life of a Boy? Or whatever it's called, where it's like, and they start singing like this song, and it's this guy's narrating. I think the one line that stands out to me is like, I think he goes into the movie, I might be getting this way wrong, but he goes in thinking a man should be an island. And at the end, he has this transformative experience with a mother and her kid. And he's like, oh, maybe a man isn't an island, and that, he needs people to surround him to be strong in the first place.
Yeah.
I was going to say to like Elijah's point, it sounded like it's like you don't go on the grind, you just like...
Oh, we talked about this.
Yes.
Yeah, you just are the grind.
It's like my favorite, like one of my favorite quotes, or especially Star Wars quotes, is do or do not, there's no try.
Yeah.
So you could try to be a man, or you could try to do well in school, but if you're not, but you can't try, you just gotta do well in school.
Yeah, I think
just do it.
I think this goes back to like even what toxic masculinity is, where it's a set of behaviors. It's not like a set of accolades or accomplishments. It's what you choose to do every day when you wake up. You can either choose to be, a jerk, or you can choose to, defend, whether it's like physically, emotionally, whatever, like defend the people you care about. Make sure everyone's doing all right. Provide for the people in your life. Not, you don't have to like, oh, go cook in the kitchen, I'll provide. But like be a source of like benefit to all of your friends and family and people you care about. I think if we add more dimensions to what traditional masculinity is, I think that's how we bring it forward. Not just like being strong. No, that's not every man, because then we're holding that one-dimensional definition of it.
It's not black white.
It doesn't need to be one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Everyone should be strong, but if you want to identify as like what is masculine, like being strong about what you care about the people you love, like I said like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, you have to be a versatile queen.
Yeah, I think
Slay.
Oh, snap. Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like my definition is like, I was gonna be like, when you're like comfortable enough within yourself to provide for other people. Because like first, like you need to like solidify your own ground, but then like a man, I feel like a man, or like at least like a good man, won't just like be stable, but like reliable. He'll provide, and he'll like inspire and put on wisdom to their followers, or something like that.
Yeah, if I may, I think that's kind of getting at what I think is the biggest fear of a lot of guys, like I'll be vulnerable, like myself included, is like not feeling useful to other people.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or like feeling like you can be easily replaced, because I feel like a lot of what happens is like, I'm not saying this doesn't happen from men to women, but like I've seen a lot of like stuff on social media where it's like, oh, your man isn't doing this, get a new one. Just like go out to the club, find a new guy, something like that.
Aww.
Or just like ditch him. Where
it's like all those cheating videos.
Yeah, it's like my man wasn't taking me out to dinner enough, so I cheated on him.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It really perpetuates. Like Zach, I agree with you. Men should be like benefiting the people around them, but I think assigning the number one top of the list thing is that they have to be like the master of everything. They have to be useful for every single thing you need in your life is really like damaging to especially young men who grow up thinking they have to be able to, build every kind of furniture, like know how to do every kind of job or task, or just like, and if they don't know how to do something, there's this lurking fear, like, oh, she's just gonna get rid of me, or this person's just gonna stop being friends with me.
Yeah, but I like that. In a traditional relationship, or I don't know, nothing's really conditional, but in any relationship, I think it's a puzzle piece really, and you have to fit together correctly, because no one person can, like Elijah said, be the master of everything, and you need to find someone who suits you, and you can do the same stuff.
I was gonna say, well, I could be the master of everything. No,
Right.
No, but I think I was about to say something that was so good.
Here, I'll let you marinate for a second. I was just gonna I wasn't saying like master of everything, but like I'm not saying like bare minimum either, but like I feel like as a man, like you can provide.
Yeah.
Like just like
No, I agree with you 100%.
like, it doesn't even have to be like for a spouse or like as a something, like just like provide something
Oh yeah,
provide something, and
Help.
it's like it's
Help.
Yeah, help.
Bring something to the
yeah.
table.
I think that's
And it's a big motivator too. Like if you're not, like I'd be like, you know, I try and be helpful all the time.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, I think, oh crap, like, what if tomorrow my dad just, you know, decides
Disappears.
just disappears. Like,
Yeah, I
top,
think about that.
like Avengers, right? And, okay, well, it's just me and my mom. I need to provide for my mom. I need to help it somehow. I need to, you know, figure out a way to get to and from school while she works. I need to figure out a way to cook for her. My mom doesn't really cook. And there's all this, like, set of things that pop into my head and things that I need to do. And I'm not saying my dad is going to disappear tomorrow, because he's not.
Yeah.
But I think as a man, you should be prepared for bad things that can happen, and you should be able to take over, and it's a little cliche, but like be the man of the house if necessary.
Yeah. What I was getting at earlier is I think, kind of Zach, like you said, like you have to offer something. I think that's something that's kind of getting like lost in like today's age, especially with social media. I feel like a lot of like just people in general are signing up to like being passenger princesses in life, just like having everything like, no, you know, like, oh, I have like a set of cooks that cook for me all the time, but just like used to people, like things happening for people,
like Postmates. Like you
could,
you could click on your phone and then it's brought to you
like people you need to
Really
offer
cool.
Go
like,
hunt for your food.
go
go
like,
out there with your spear and your shield.
run over a deer.
Get that boar.
That's your food.
And like
But I think something that happens is when guys like feel like they need to provide a lot of things, whether it's like an entertainment or like material things or funds or something, when they're like no matter I can do this.
I used to be able to crack my
Yeah, no
elbows
matter
when I
like
did
how much
push-ups.
they do, I feel like sometimes it gets taken advantage of. Like because you know they're trying to do everything, and like in their head, if they don't do everything,
No,
it
not-
comes
not
off.
Thumbs up.
Hold up. In their head, if they're not doing everything, like they feel like useless. But from an outside perspective, it's like, oh wow, this person's doing everything for me. I don't have to do anything. And this is kind of like, again, I'll open up. In like my last relationship, I was like yes, like I am here to be your boyfriend. I will like do everything for you. Like don't even worry about it. Like it's like 70-30, right? But the and I was fine with that. But the issue is a lot of the time, if it's 7-30, both people have to give 100%
Of the 70.
of their
So,
thing. Because for a while it became like 75, 70-10, and that like, and then then you feel like you're really being taken advantage of. So I think,
I like that. I
So
heard
it's 100.
I've heard people say it's 100, and
it is.
you know, when you go down to 95, even just like one day, maybe you have an off day, then you're like, oh, okay, you're gonna go to 95. I'm gonna go down to 80, and then it all goes to.
Yeah, I think So like, no matter how much like you know, because like I did really enjoy like buying her dinner and taking her out and like doing stuff and setting things up and planning things, but like when my huge sliver I was taking care of, when that small sliver, that like 30%, 20% doesn't get taken care of, it feels like you're just like putting your entire self out there and you're not getting anything back. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, I took her out to dinner, she will. Oh, you gotta do that. Hold up. It's not like I took this girl out to dinner, she has to like watch a movie with me and hang out with me for like the next 2 days. But it's like, I think the word I was thinking of is enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Just like you know, seem like you give a. Can you say crap?
Yes.
Yeah, just like seem like you give a crap. Like I don't care. Like just like a smile and like a thank you is like does so which
Or just talk to them.
or just like some kind of like backwards enthusiasm like goes a very long way. Otherwise, you just feel like a servant.
And I think that
Oh.
that's true for a lot of
The silencer?
relationships too. Even if you're like a daughter or a son and a mother or a father,
Mm-hmm.
like Hereditary.
Yeah, like no matter how
Oh, that's a scary movie.
I hate that movie. It was so good. But no matter what piece of the pie you're responsible for, you have to fill it. So if it is a 50-50, which is it's like 50-50, but it's 100-100, you know, just whatever amount of the puzzle, like the pie you have to fill, you have to do that.
Yeah. You know how one time on one of the parties episodes you asked me a past question? Like
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, Zach answered this question last time, but speaking of this, we girls often talk about like, or I guess the main conversation is bare minimum guys can do.
Oh, well, this is a way throwback.
Yeah, way throwback. What's the bare minimum girls can do? A smile and a thank you. That's
Yeah, it sounds
It's
like
case by case. of
it
course.
sounds-
Yeah.
sure.
it sounds really objectifying to say smile and a thank you. So maybe like just like genuine and like what's the word? What's like authentic like appreciation. Not just being like thanks for dinner, bye. Or like I appreciate you like set the time out every day. You got a reservation.
So words.
Just like yeah, because like guys
Words.
really need to hear like you know whether or not it's like healthy. Like we really like to hear like thank you, you did a good job.
No, that's like a normal.
Good morning.
Yeah,
Good
I'm
night.
a little dumb.
Oh,
I won't
you
know
said-
unless
Do you remember
tell
what
me.
you
Yeah.
said
No,
on
no.
the pod when I asked?
I don't remember exactly. No, but
Thank
you said something like you really appreciated it, or like when your dad would send you like TikToks or like
Oh, yeah.
stuff like that. It's like
Yeah.
if you guys like did that stuff for us or something like that.
Okay.
Like I didn't have TikTok, but I re-downloaded it because my girlfriend my ex wanted to send me TikToks, and that was like so exciting for me. I was like, oh, it's like someone cares.
Yeah, so like some things are like, oh, this reminded me of you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thinking about us.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
just-
showing that you're
Showing
thinking.
that you're thinking
really,
about
it really
it.
boils down to because like I was talking with Ronan about this. In the back of our heads, there's always like unless we have that super clear, solid confirmation, like yes, I give a crap. In the back of our heads, it's like
yeah.
deep down, she really could just be a nice person and go along with it because she's nice. You know, like
Yeah,
like,
and
oh, that's-
don't go along with things just because you're nice.
Yeah.
That's a recipe for
because
disaster.
and that's also like you know whether like it's probably not malicious, but that's kind of leading people on with that fear in the back of their head.
Yeah.
So either like be like no, sorry, I don't want to go out with you, or like yes, and I'm interested in talking to you, and like your presence is appreciated in my life.
One thing that like I feel like actually I can talk about this because in my relationship like at first there was some sort of mix up, and so we kind of startled each other a little bit, but it was actually like sort of a blessing in disguise because like we developed like super good like communication skills, and so if there's like another dilemma or anything that happens it's like huh
What? Nothing.
Community.
dilemma she said I could name drop but I won't.
No, don't.
I won't. No, but yeah, and so it's like communication, especially not like developing it like in the first part of the relationship, like at a base. I think that's like super helpful, super good.
Like just like speaking directly about what you're feeling.
That's like basically men's mental health.
Yeah, like the back and forth.
I like being blunt. I think that's one of my
Yeah.
things. I want to try to be blunt with people, and I really appreciate it when people are blunt with me.
Yeah, I think it's just that clear, authentic back and forth. Whether it's like banter or you're like what's it called, taking shots at each other for fun. It just has to be a constant like back and forth.
Yeah.
Of like energy and care. Because when it becomes just like I keep saying funny things and this person keeps laughing, but like they're just laughing and not saying anything back. It does feel like it's just an example, whatever.
That's kinda
It does feel like huh?
It's like a little like chalant. If like it's like I mean on both ends, like you're giving your all, and like nothing's being reciprocated. You kind of look like a fool.
Yeah,
And
it's kind of like you're like, wait, why am I doing this?
But actually,
Okay.
I've sort of like rearranged chalant in my head because I realized that like the stuff that I do that's like chalant, I kind of like the most. Like music, it's kind of chalant, but
Yeah.
like it's also kind of cool. Like
Yeah, I think there's like a big issue where like I feel like our parents are like you gotta be like a mysterious dude. You can't like overshare. You can't like
Yeah.
you can't be like
Like crazy stupid love.
yeah. It's like
Yes.
I can't be like I like Star Wars and video games and cooking and photography. The video games part comes a lot later because I love Star Wars, bro.
I love Star
But
Wars.
it's like you have to like kind of seem like you don't care, about anything, but like you're good at everything, but you don't care about it.
So I guess being nonchalant is emotional.
Yes. Here's the real secret. It's like you don't overshare, right? You like fulfill the question, but like you also just gotta like sprinkle it in there.
Yeah, but purposely trying to do that is being nonchalant.
Exactly.
Being nonchalant.
It's like if it comes up in conversation.
It comes up in
You're
conversation.
not just like, oh,
Don't show someone, tell them your life story.
Yeah,
sorry, I just sneezed. I went to the gym yesterday and I benched about 500 pounds.
No, and I think the issue, I think you have to be, especially when it comes to your interests, very blunt with people. Like I kind of like use the term like I'm a closeted nerd. Like if you saw me like walking, you wouldn't know.
Oh,
But I'm like,
oh yeah.
and I'm like a huge nerd. Right? Like there was a big misunderstanding with my ex and I. She was like, oh, like she's like, I know a lot of like my friends call me while they're playing video games, and I said, oh, I don't do that. As in, I wouldn't call her while I was playing video games. But for months, she thought I didn't play video games, and then I was like, no, I said I wouldn't like,
Call you.
I said I wouldn't like have you in the background while I'm playing video games. Okay, because that's being too nonchalant.
Yeah, and I think part of saying your interest is saying your commitment to your interests. You know, if you have an extracurricular that's very time consuming, and you need to make it clear where your priorities stand in your life.
And if they don't mess with something like too much,
They don't mess with bike riding.
yeah, if you know, if
Then I don't mess with you.
exactly,
If you
like,
don't mess with me.
like don't not share something about yourself. That's not bad. Like if you're a serial killer, like don't. But like if you like video games or bike riding or rock climbing or something like that, and you don't tell them out of fear they won't like you,
That's
they don't like you anyways.
Yeah.
Being fake.
Yeah, you're being fake, and they're kind of being deceived.
Yeah.
Because home slice does not think you like video games, but you have 1,500 hours on it.
It's like Megamind.
Oh.
I think we had a lot of great conversation. I learned something
Oh,
as
good.
a young
You learned?
woman. Yeah.
Oh, nice. What'd you learn? So, Katie, what'd you learn?
I learned how much you guys like to feel appreciated and be useful, which I guess I kind of knew in the back of my head, but it's just confirmed now.
Cool. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't do drugs, guys. Stop. Okay. Make sure to buy our wristbands, and we have stickers too.
I actually bought it. He didn't buy it. I'm a true supporter.
Stickers
I
are
have
a little
a-
underground.
Oh, wait. I have a carabiner
Oh yeah. So
of wristbands. You can
Exactly.
find
You
me.
can put it on the back.
You
It'll
can-
look better if you put it on the back.
You can find
A
me.
little furry tail.
Yeah, no. You can find me. You can DM us, email us,
yeah, whatever.
stalk us.
Draw.
Don't do that.
Don't stalk us.
But
Come to
subscribe.
Young Men's Mental
Subscribe,
Health.
like-
Thumbs up.
Thank you to Elijah and Ronan for joining us for the
Yes,
podcast.
thank you.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Alright.
let's see what will come out of our
You,
hair.
you have wrists to do it, Katie. Put your,
Ah!
Zach, that's the ugliest heart I've ever seen in my life. Put your fingers more down, like you're. There we go.
Wait, everybody do it. I can get a thumbnail.
Wait,
Smile.
Ronan, yeah, I was gonna say.
Didn't we
thumbnail.
get?
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Oh, keep on keeping on. Oh.
Keep it on, blood.
Keep on keeping on.